We're going to be sharing our spoiler-free review of Deepwater, and also after that we'll have our in-depth spoiler review as well. So whether you're a long-time listener or a new watcher, please hit that like and subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified of new shows, and also on Facebook you can find us at the Talking ET there as well. So before anything further, let's get into it.
It is time again for movie musings.
So I watched Deepwater. I'll give you my spoiler for review, and before I do that, as far as the ratings go, let me break down how I look at ratings. I divide them up into 5 categories. Not all categories apply to every movie, but we just take that one out and we just subtract that from the average. So I incorporate entertainment, the story, the writing, the story, acting, special effects, and action sequences. Like I said, if none of those pertain to the movie, then they're just dropped and the average is taken out of the other ones. Then I give an overall rating based on the average of those 5. So let's get into Deepwater a little bit here. First half of the movie, I thought the acting was very good, and it was very intense for the first half, for what happened, and by now you've seen the trailer, so you know there is a plane crash, and that takes like the first half of the movie for the most part. I thought the story was pretty engaging at that point. Acting was, like I said, was good. Ben Kingsley was good. Aaron Eckhart really took the role seriously, especially in the second half, maybe a little too seriously, but we'll get into that in the spoiler review. The second half of the movie was borderline parody. That's what made Aaron's seriousness even the more standoutish, if that's a word. So my overall rating is for the movie is 6.6 out of 10. So I wish I could give a rating for the first half and the second half of the movie, but I'm just going to give you the overall in the spoiler-free review. So the story, overall 5 out of 10. I gave the acting a 7 out of 10. There was a couple other characters in the movie that did a really good job, especially on limited role. Special effects, I hovered around a 6. It probably was a little better than that, but that's what I'm going to go with. Like I said, it's hard with the first half and the second half. The first half of the movie, the effects were really, really good. The second half, when the sharks came in, it wasn't quite as great. So I just landed on a 6 out of 10 on that. Action sequences, though, I gave them an 8 out of 10. I thought the scenes were storyboarded out well. They were planned, and the overall execution of that was very good. So again, my overall rating for Deepwater, 6.6 out of 10. If you don't want to be spoiled by the movie, I'm going to give the 5-second spoiler warning, and then after that we're going to get into the spoilers. So if that's all for today, I'll see you later. If you're hanging around, be back in 5. Okay, we're back. Thanks for hanging out. I'm trusting that you don't mind spoilers now, because we're going to be talking for you. So this movie was kind of all over the place, especially quality-wise. Let's get into it. The plane crash itself was extended nightmare fuel. Lasted for, just going off memory, 15 to 20 minutes from very start to finish. It was pretty realistic for what I would believe would happen in that. Now, some of the stuff that caused it, I really still don't understand, but it happened, and some really bad luck ended up causing the plane to go down. This is the spoiler review, so I'll just say it. I mean, some kind of little fire starts on one of the cargo holds, and it just keeps growing from there, and it blows up in the cargo hold from what, I'm not sure. And then as the plane's a little bit on fire, they're trying to get it suppressed. Guys get the two other backup pilots, I guess, for another, since it was a long flight. They were down there trying to put the fire out. They get killed because the crate comes loose and smashes them, and all kinds of explosions there. But for now, the plane's still flying. And then all of a sudden, a little fire starts in the engine, and the engine blows. Now they have one engine, and they're flying a little bit. Crazy stuff's happening. People are getting pulled out of the plane from where the side blew out, so they're dropping down below 10,000 to relieve the cabin, to equal out the cabin pressure. And then the other engine goes, and then they're just heading into pretty much the water. Luckily, I guess, they landed, quote unquote, on a coral reef, but when it hit the reef, it caused the plane to kind of cartwheel over itself, which that'll be something else we talk about later as far as the plane itself. Comes to a stop, and you see Ben Kingsley, his character, and Aaron Eckhart's character, the main character, in the cockpit, and their cockpit is hanging down like this, and when he gets out of the cockpit, the right to the back of the cockpit is level with the water. I'm still not sure how that happened. There was no break in the plane. That was something that me and my buddy immediately noticed and thought was odd. But suffice to say, this is the end of Ben Kingsley. A very emotional and very well done scene with him and Aaron and even the stewardess or flight attendant that was there. Now, I think he knew when to get out of the movie too, because this is when it went a little bit off the rails. Not total bad way. Like I said, it was still entertaining, and the action sequences were still good. It's just I don't know. The story, it was really weird. Some weird stuff happened. We'll get into that. Now, as far as the sharks showing up, they did a really good job of the director did of creating that intensity and sense of claustrophobia with having the camera half in the water, half out, moving towards people a little bit, but the sharks weren't quite there yet, so they were setting you up to be scared later, and believe me, that comes. Once the sharks do show up, there's some crazy shark kills, really making you say, whoa, and covering your eyes, ducking your head, and wincing, and all kinds of stuff. So that was well done. Not really jump scares, which, I mean, I'm not a big fan of, because I think they're cheap. But I thought they built it up with Jaws-like music, and I thought it was well done on that part. And again, like I said, overall the acting I thought was very good. And Aaron took the role very seriously, good or bad. He took it very seriously. And they used the ocean to create anxiousness, being suffocated, exposed. They put some of the passengers in very perilous situations, and obviously in this kind of movie, not everybody makes it out, but they do a good job of at least making that part of it pretty realistic. Like, you know, you have people stuck in an upside down plane with an air pocket. Not everybody's going to make it out of there. And there was an older actress and who played a grandma, and she was really, really good. I was really impressed. I'll have to look her up and maybe see what else she's been in and check it out, because she was really good at that, making you feel empathy for her, and how the little girl kind of created a quick bond with her. Now, Angus Sampson, who I love on the show Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix, his character in this movie was just so poorly written and annoying and over the top. As an over-the-top angry white American, that I just cheered for him to die, and was really thankful when it finally did. And it's almost like, I don't know if anybody saw Hot Tub Time Machine, when they went back in time and they were waiting for that guy's arm to get lopped off because it was in how he knew him, he didn't have an arm. So stuff kept happening to where they thought his arm was going to... Well, that's how I felt about this character, except I was hoping for it to happen. And it finally did, but it was way too late. And But anyway, going on from that, he was just so annoying, irresponsible, and brash, and just, I don't know. He did a good job not making me like him. So I'm glad he's in Lincoln Lawyer, and I like his character there. I mean, with a lot of these monster type movies, shark movies, the believability measure went up and down the scale constantly. There was stuff that you could tell they put a lot of thought into how it would play out, and other stuff not so much. As in, so they finally get a flare off. They see a helicopter coming to rescue them. The helicopter gets in close, and they start to lower somebody into the water. They're all telling them no. And of course, like everyone could see coming, a shark jumps out, grabs the guy at the bottom and hooks the helicopter. And it's just a little, it's not like a great white like in Jaws. It's like a 10-foot tiger shark or something that is like, no way that thing could pull a helicopter down. But of course it does. Everybody in the emergency team die. And there we are. So now, so they're swimming around, and the one little girl who I mentioned was friends with the older lady, standing out on a wing by herself. She got separated from everybody else somehow and didn't die. Aaron Eckhart decides to go save her. He jumps in the water, swims, and for some reason the sharks were really slow then, unlike the rest of the movie, like the slow zombies in the beginning of Walking Dead. He climbs out and gets her. He's with her, and they're kind of, they're okay. Suddenly you see a ship, so a trawler, a fishing boat gets called to help with the rescue. So they come out. Well, they can't get closer because of the coral reef that they landed on. So now they're stuck there, and they cannot get there. So they're all on, they have a little raft, like a lifeboat from the plane. And they're in it. Well, they can't get to Aaron Eckhart and the girl. The wing starts to sink. He pulls out a flare gun just as a shark is about to eat him. Comes up out of the water, shoots the flare gun into the shark's mouth, and the flare turns into an RPG and blows the head of the shark off, which I'm still not sure how happened, because that wouldn't happen. That one made me roll my eyes a little bit, I gotta say, but just kind of laughed and chuckled and then just went on the way. If I could split the movie into half, then they make it and everybody's happy, blah, blah, blah. If I could split the movie, the first half I would give a 7 out of 10 because the build-up and the story in that part was actually really good and well done. After the plane crash, though, the story lost me a little bit, and I have to give the second half a 4 out of 10, which is why a 6.6 out of 10 is where I landed. Because I was entertained, but I was entertained through most of the movie, sometimes just not in the way it was meant for me to be. Instead of relief or fear, I was chuckling a little bit. But overall, it's worth a watch. I'm not sure it's worth a watch in theater, but maybe catch it out when it comes out on streaming. It's definitely an entertaining movie, and there's my review and for Deepwater. Again, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Talking ET. If you enjoyed the show, we'd appreciate if you'd share it with a friend. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook to get notified for new episodes. Also, as usual, any ideas for episodes you'd like to see, movies, TV shows, comics, music, anything, anime, let me know in the comments. See you next time.
Ba-doom.